These 3 women got amazing success with reducing their belly fat as they followed my method, and I'm going to show you exactly how to torch belly fat, even if you're in menopause or post-menopause, in this video. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50 get in amazing shape. And I've helped, as I record this, over 10,000 women who have bought one of my programs, reduce their belly fat, get rid of that menopause weight gain. And I've coached hundreds of women. So I'm going to talk about this method in this video, but it is proven, and you saw those pictures, this is proven that it actually works. But do watch right until the end, because I'm going to give you an incredible opportunity to win $20,000 and reduce your belly fat. How about that? So first things first, I'm going to talk about why we get belly fat when we're middle-aged. And I experienced this just like any other woman. And I'm going to sort of put a picture up here. And try as I might, I couldn't seem to find success when I initially started on my journey for about 2.5 years actually. And what I found, I'm going to put another picture up here, is I kind of lost weight, but I still carried a ton of fat around my midsection, and I was kind of blaming myself. Do you do this? Do you blame yourself? I was blaming myself, thinking, oh, I've gotten too sedentary, or I'm just like overeating, and I wasn't doing any of those things. I was just doing the exact same things that I did in my younger days, but it just wasn't working anymore. And I was getting more and more fat around my midsection, which is actually dangerous. It's actually bad for your health. So it's not just important to address it for aesthetic reasons, but it's important to address it because it's actually more dangerous for your heart health, because it's actually visceral fat that you're carrying when you carry more fat around your midsection. But why is it happening? Number one, your hormones are depleting, and in particular, you're losing estrogen. And when you're losing estrogen, it's not your fault, is it? It's not your fault you're losing estrogen. What happens is your body's going to start trying to produce more estrogen itself. And in doing that, it actually makes you gain fat around your midsection. So it's not your fault. Secondly, you're losing muscle mass. And you're losing muscle mass once you hit over the age of 40 at around about 1% per year, just under 1%. The thing about having muscle on you is it's going to help your body burn more fat. So when you're younger, you're naturally going to have more muscle on you. And so your metabolism is actually better because muscle burns fat just while you're resting. So just while you're kind of sitting around, sleeping, whatever you're doing, muscle is going to be burning calories. But of course, we haven't got that muscle anymore to burn calories as we age. Thirdly, you're going to be experiencing inflammation, especially around the time of perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. So what does that look like? Inflammation in your body is your kind of body's response to certain things that are happening. So it could be like your gut health. Your gut health is going off, so you're going to get bloating. You're going to have like painful joints. You might have, and I found I had this during perimenopause, a lot of fluid retention. That's kind of inflammation. And fourthly, you're going to have something called insulin resistance. And that's when your pancreas is not controlling your blood sugar levels. And when you get to a certain age, you can almost assume that you have got a little bit or a lot of insulin resistance. So a lot of insulin resistance will lead to conditions like type 2 diabetes. It can also lead to Alzheimer's. But the thing about it is, insulin resistance will mean you get these blood sugar spikes and you're going to store more fat around your midsection. So that's why we get belly fat. I think it's really important to address the reasons why, because as I said, we can often feel like it's our fault, and it really isn't. In a second, I'm going to talk about what you can do about it, but I'm going to talk firstly about what doesn't work, because my methods, and you saw at the start how successful it is for women, it doesn't involve juicing. It doesn't involve worrying about when you eat or fasting. You can eat when you like. It doesn't involve extreme dieting. It doesn't actually involve diets with a name either. It doesn't involve tons of core exercises. You can have a really strong core and still have a ton of fat around your midsection. It doesn't involve tons of cardio, because tons of cardio is actually going to reduce your muscle mass. So what does it involve? The key and number one thing is nutrition. Have you ever heard of the phrase, abs are made in the kitchen? That is so true. It's so true in this instance when we're looking at torching belly fat. You're going to find it's the nutrition that is absolutely key. And I am going to talk a little bit about exercise, but nutrition just about trumps everything else. If you can get this right, you're going to make some real inroads. You want to have the type of nutrition that's going to address the insulin resistance, your depleting hormones, and address reducing muscle mass. And you want nutrition that is going to be optimum for inflammation, so it's anti-inflammatory. So the first thing you need to think about is taking a gram of protein per pound in body weight, or if you weigh over 170 pounds, because it's sort of based on lean mass, you're going to have less lean mass, you can shoot for your goal body weight. So that's the first thing to look at. And what does that look like? That looks like eating protein at every single meal and snack. For most women, you're going to be needing to get like maybe 150, 160, 170 grams of protein per day. So you really want to be making sure when you're having your snacks, you're having things like Greek yogurt or a protein shake, and you're having either a plant-based source of protein, or it could be kind of like eggs, that kind of thing, or fish or lean meat at every meal. So what's that going to do? That's going to increase your metabolism, because your metabolism's waning. It's going to help you build and retain muscle, and it's going to keep you satisfied. So you're less likely to want to like snack on the stuff that doesn't help you reach your goals. The next thing is to address kind of insulin resistance and inflammation. You're going to need to have a healthy whole foods diet with plenty of plants. That's going to really help with inflammation. You're going to need to focus on the carbohydrates that actually support like having control over your blood sugar levels. That's taking your carbohydrates from whole grains. It's taking your carbohydrates from starchy vegetables, but it's not taking them from refined sugar. It's not drinking too much alcohol. It's avoiding ultra processed foods, and it's avoiding white flour, that kind of thing, because that's a refined carbohydrate which doesn't do any good for your insulin resistance. And the final word on nutrition is you want to be eating fermented foods. Kimchi is great. Sauerkraut, tempeh is another one, apple cider vinegar, kefir. They're all forms of fermented foods, and they're really going to help reduce inflammation and address changes in your gut health. Your gut can really make a difference to your belly fat. So I've covered nutrition and I'm now going to talk about exercise. So we said we want to support our muscle health, don't we? We want to grow and retain muscle as we get older. We want to buck the trend. It really is the elixir of youth, but also it helps you reduce belly fat. You want to be lifting weights 3 or 4 times a week. You can do this from home. You can do it in the gym. Doesn't really matter. Both methods are going to work really well. And you want to be doing at least 30 minutes at each session. And if you're a more advanced lifter like me, you're probably looking at like 45 minutes to an hour. You want to do lots of walking. Walking is amazing for actually improving your metabolism and burning more calories, and it's really easy to fit in. If you can do outdoor walking, that is absolutely great, but if that's not available to you, maybe get an under-desk treadmill. And you know, especially if you found that you're desk-bound a lot, you can use your under-desk treadmill to actually burn calories while you're working, for example, maybe being on Zoom calls, that kind of thing. If your fitness levels allow it, build in a small amount of HIIT cardio, high intensity interval training. It doesn't have to be a massive amount. It could be 15 or 20 minutes to start off with. And you want to do that kind of 2 or 3 times a week to start off with, just to kind of build up your resilience with it. Because when you first start something like high intensity interval training, it is quite hard. So what you want to be doing is 30 seconds of flat out and like a minute or 2 of walking or resting pace for that stretch of 15 minutes. And I can tell you it goes past really quickly when you do exercise like that. It's really strange, but if you do steady state cardio, it seems to take forever, but this you'll find you get it over and done with in a really short space of time. And it's also another reason it's really good, as well as burning belly fat. It's actually going to be really good for your heart health as well, and your overall well-being, your overall fitness. You can do a small amount of core work, but do remember that when you are doing all your lifting, so like your squats, your deadlifts, your push movements, your pull movements, the whole time you're actually working your core. And I love to brace in. So you can do core exercises. You can do something called stomach vacuums, and I'll put a video up here of me doing stomach vacuums. That's not actually going to help you reduce belly fat. That's going to strengthen your core and give you more control. So as I said, nutrition is absolutely key to all this. That's going to help you reveal abs. You're not going to reveal abs by doing tons of sit-ups. So I tend to incorporate a few core exercises 1 or 2 times a week. That is all. We don't need to be doing any more than that to get a really nice defined waistline. So by implementing exactly what I've talked about in this video, you can reduce belly fat. Or if you want a program that will just help you put all of that into practice, and it's like really easy to follow, I do have my 8-week transformation challenge specifically for women over 40. So you can't take part unless you're over 40. And there's a $20,000 prize fund. Women have been experiencing amazing results on this transformation challenge, and we're only in our first year of doing this, so I'm expecting to see some even more amazing transformations. But let's hear from Stephanie Conway. She actually took part in my transformation challenge.
Hi guys, I went from 180.7 pounds to 162.4 pounds in body fat weight, and I went from 37.5 inches in my waist to 29.5 inches in my waist. That's 18.4 pounds lost in general, and then 8 pounds or I'm sorry, 8 inches off my waist. My original why was I wanted to be pain free, no more pain in my feet, my legs, my knees, all of that. And then secondly, I wanted to be able to walk in a store and buy any kind of clothing that I wanted to buy without feeling insecure or self conscious. But what I realized is those were great whys, and they still are like the icing on the cake. But I went from outcome based whys to be more in the present. So I went from like, what can I have in the future to, ooh, I wonder how many jump squats I can do in a row without stopping, or how many push ups can I do without having to take a break, or oh my gosh, how much weight can I do today? Because I've been increasing the weight in whatever exercise progressively over the week. So it became more, instead of the future, it became just about the present. And then lastly, I would say there's that term mindset. And you'll hear that term a lot. You got to have the right mindset, which I thought I already had. But with this program and the tools, and slowly working along, I'd say about the third or the fourth week, I went from, oh, I totally had a mind shift. And that mind shift was no longer being a victim of menopause, but being a fit, resilient, strong person that can kick menopause in the teeth. And I love it. So those are the three changes that I made, and I'm so thankful. Thank you, everybody.